the madhouse.
Cheers to episode 61.
I forgot about that part of the episode.
You always do, man. Let's not sugarcoat it. Alex just wanted to get a drink. Evan, I'm drinking a pre-workout. This is a first for the show.
Pre-workout?
It might be why I'm so testy right now when it comes to Alex, but this is 6-star pre-workout explosion.
Not an ad.
Actually,
I'm simply just drinking water. 5 o'clock, a little too early. Haven't had dinner yet, so.
Call back to last episode. I saw your Bud Light Next beers at Meyer. I saw them on the shelves with my own eyes. I don't even think Alex grabbed anything, or did he? Alex, there are beers in the fridge.
Yeah, but can't do that, Graham.
I bought Blue Moon Haze is what it was called.
Is that the grapefruit flavor?
I think it's supposed to be more orangey flavor because it says it was brewed with dried orange peels.
Oh. I had a Blue Moon one time, and it was like their light version. I did not enjoy it.
Was it like the Harvest thing?
I don't remember. It came in a skinny can. And it was like the Blue Moon Light or something.
I can't attest. I had it last night during the game, and it was pretty solid. It's pretty citrusy. More so, it's almost like if you would just like brewed a normal Blue Moon with like the orange that people put on the rim in the actual thing. So it's pretty good. Alex has joined us again.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's a blessing to be on the show.
So you're not drinking anything. You just got up and did all that for nothing.
No, I have water, and then I'm going to mix some Total War pre-workout in at the end.
Oh, copying me. That's pretty rich.
Well, that's what my plan was all day, but it's not surprising that you did it as well.
Okay.
You're a loser.
Welcome on in. Today is Wednesday, March 2nd, 5:04 p.m., starting 4 minutes late because of Alex's delay. Welcome to the number one sports podcast in Michigan. And it's March. Welcome to March, boys. We're here. Some would say one of the best months of the year.
March.
Does March mean something?
The vibes of March, I'd say, are a little bit different than last year, where there's not real buzz that either of the teams we root for in the state can make a Final Four. So we'll see how.
Yeah. There was no buzz for us last year either. So
No, I said at least one.
yeah, congrats, man.
Michigan had buzz last year to make a Final Four. This year, neither had buzz to make a Final Four. So that's whatever. We'll see how this goes. Life on the bubble. So to preview the show, our weekly recaps, entertaining as always. And then both basketball teams, recaps and previews, whatever, are just overall like brain dump on both of our basketball teams. Lions Inside the Den, episode 1 dropped this past week, which I don't think that show gets enough love. Like, I don't know how well they promote it. It's pretty well produced, so we'll shine some light on that and saw some things that we liked and maybe things that gave us concern. Who knows? The MLB Lockout, officially going to miss some baseball, so we'll touch on that briefly. I'm no CBA expert over here. And then we have some good life questions from people, some good listener questions this week. So if anything, stick around for that at the end. All right, weekly recaps. I'd like to hear from Evan, because Evan's in my good graces right now, opposed to Alex. Evan, why don't you tell me how your week was?
We did this, last Monday? Had the posse up in EL. Shout out Rye Guy, he battled and built. He persevered through a tough time and got what he came here for.
Whoa, that was super vague. What did he bat the battle through?
Let's just say some people got their hopes up for something and it did not happen, and then it turns out that it happened the next day later.
So this is in reference to a listener question follow-up? Yeah. We have
Yes.
a finale to it?
Yeah, so how did it go with the listener that was told to go on the date by us with the volleyball player?
Yeah, so that listener had a kind of, not the varsity date, not the primetime date, kind of got like the noon on BTN date the following day. From what I know, everything went great. And then Saturday, basketball game was great. And then the boys took on the Sino.
Did see that.
Has anyone ever called it the Cino?
Yeah, the Cino, the casino.
The Nino.
The casino, you know, Soaring Eagle, not
I think
an
it's
ad.
Nino.
Great place. It was alive and well on a Saturday night. Busy, packed. Hard to find tables, hard to find cheap tables.
Mm.
Some people won, some people didn't. All in all, it was a good time.
Did you? Oh man, not good.
You
No,
do any
not good. Not good at all.
do any card counting when you're up there?
I tried to, but I thought
feds
I
are
always
gonna be at your
remembered
door?
like the.
Well, it's illegal, Evan, so you shouldn't have said
I
that.
understand that. It's frowned upon, basically.
Evan's not. None of us are intelligent enough to do that.
I
Speak
always
for
thought like
yourself.
the decks, like they would do
Shut
blackjack.
up,
The
Grant.
decks were just bigger than what they actually are. It seemed like they were shuffling them like every like 3 hands, and it just got annoying at one point.
I think it just depends on the table you're at. Some have those like giant ones, and it looks like they put like 4 decks in them, and they just
This
go
one
through
looked
that
like
whole
it had
thing.
like 4 or 5 decks, but just like running through that, and so like I don't know, a lot of dead time.
How late do you stay?
We got there around. I don't even know what time we got there. How did we get there?
I don't know. I
Eight?
asked.
He looked out the window like he was asking someone to answer for him.
We got there around 8. I think we left around 10:30, 11,
You weren't there too long.
7. I don't remember what time we got there.
You can never be there too long. The Soaring Eagle, I forget, do they give out free drinks?
Yes.
Uh,
Not booze.
Not booze, but everything else is free.
Oh, that's lame. They should be boozing you up for free.
They also have like their own like dispenser. Like you can go up and just get your own drinks now. You don't have to like be waited.
I thought you were talking about weed. Like a
Same.
dispensary.
Non-smoking
Yeah,
too,
that's-
so there's no more smoking inside there.
Really? That's got to be new. Last time I was there, it was a cigarette madhouse.
Yeah, the old ladies love to rip cigs and pull their slots.
Yeah, so that was quality time.
Nice. Alex, you're weak, man. What'd you do?
Well, nothing. I went home to my
That's something.
hometown. I watched the dog.
Home is where the heart is.
Yeah,
Talked
your
to
family's
my
like,
mom
oh,
and
Alex,
dad.
your family's who's listening to this right now. Alex goes, I did nothing this week of importance. Oh, but yeah, I actually visited my family. They gotta feel like
Yeah, but
2 feet tall right now.
my dad and sister weren't there. So just my mom. So just some quality time with my mom and the dog. And then Sunday I went to a birthday brunch.
Bougie.
Yeah. You don't have to put that in, but just telling Evan for context.
The goat.
It was Zane's birthday.
The famous singer from One Direction.
Yeah. And then I really didn't do anything exciting in the last week. I went to the game yesterday, but I figured
Yeah.
I'd talk about that later.
Yeah, good point. So you did, yeah.
But other than that, nothing.
All right. Well, I have a couple things here. More some just random thoughts I had during the week than actual events. Saturday, I spent a good chunk of my day watching youth basketball for like the first time in forever. And my only main takeaway, we're talking like first and fourth grade type of
Oh.
basketball.
Guys or
amo-
girls?
Both. Girls in the
Oh.
morning and guys at night or
I've
afternoon.
refed those age groups, and there's nothing worse than like first through fourth grade girls basketball.
The reffing
Sorry
was
to all the
is
female listeners.
the reffing is an interesting discussion because the first grade like co-ed league, it was co-ed, not just females, but the refs were high school girls. They didn't call anything because like unless the ball went out of bounds, because like you can't call travels because you'd be blowing your whistle nonstop. But then it was funny, and then the fourth grade boys, they were like good enough skill level wise where if it was a egregious travel, they would call it. And these were like old grandpa like high school refs. So I was just thinking, and they were in like full zebra outfit, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I am. They had to be strapping up in the morning. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this for probably like $15 an hour. Just calling Tommy for travels when he doesn't know that he has to dribble. But the main takeaway I had was the amount of like, oh, whenever a shot hits the rim is like out of control. Like these parents, like this shot could be like not even close to going in. If it just even sniffs the basket, they're just so not used to it. They go, oh man, like 25 times a game. It's like, come on, guys.
Try,
Like,
sweetie.
Yeah.
Go, Abby!
Just the audible like of the crowd is so funny. And I was like thinking, like, imagine if that translated to like a college basketball game. Like, obviously, people when it like rims in and out, you're like, oh, but like every single shot, it's a lot. So that was that. Now, for people that tend to get grossed out at things, I guess maybe little warning here. I scraped the dead skin off my feet for the first time in like 20 plus years.
That was gross.
15 plus years. Like never like do any foot care. I've never been to a salon. I've never gotten this pedicure your toes. I've never gotten one of those. I've never had dead skin. But what happened was I was going to bed one night. I don't wear socks to bed like a normal person. And my feet bumped up against each other. And like my big toe felt the heel on my other foot. And it was like rock hard. And I was like, oh God, like this is like a problem. Like my skin, Evan just jumped in his seat.
I really don't like feet.
I was like,
gross.
This is why I warned you. I said, my like heel should not feel that dead and just like numb. I don't know. So I was like, I went on Amazon, as anyone does, and I bought basically a cheese grater. That's what these things look like, I guess. They look like a cheese grater. And then you get a little filing thing. I came the next day because Amazon's amazing. And then I sat there in the tub, my foot draped over, and I just went scraping. And the amount of stuff that came off my foot was insane. Just little pieces of foot cheese. And then,
Ew, dude. What the fuck is that?
that's what it looks like. Like you're shredding
Foot cheese?
foot cheese.
Dude.
And then I smoothed it out, and I did that once, and it felt good. And then I did it on Monday as well. So I've done it twice since I bought it, and my feet are noticeably different. There's still a long way to go, but I'm undoing like 15 plus years of insane foot damage. So,
speaking of that, it did remind me of one thing that was kind of exciting from my week. I got a nose trimmer, and I trimmed my nose for the first time.
just
Life altering.
just some adult shit right now on weekly recaps.
Yeah, some good shit right here.
Just taking care of ourselves.
Haven't you ever trimmed your nose?
Yes, I've had one for 2 or 3 years now.
Oh, do not hurt me.
Sorry, Evan hit adulthood a little earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had a hairy nose. I was like, I got to do something about this. So finally took care of it, and I feel like I can breathe better.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have to try this out, although I think it's gross if we share one.
You're not using the one I have.
All right. I get it. I feel that way about when people share deodorant, so I can definitely see it apply to noses. To continue on the theme of taking care of ourselves, I decided, guys, call it a March resolution, wherever you want, early year resolution. I'm going to start stretching more. I've reached the age of 24 where I just can't go out there and give it my all, whether that be shooting basketballs. Like we talked about my back. We talked, lifting.
What is wrong with you?
I'm stretching more. I found a great 5-minute daily routine on YouTube today, and I tried it. And boy, let me tell you, I was just doing a basic yoga position, kind of like the Spider-Man stretch we used to do in high school. You guys remember where you put one leg out from a plank position and you wrap your leg in? You hold that for like 30 seconds, dude, that hurts. And that is tough to do. And I'm like, yep, this is a great sign, Grant, that you need to do this once a day in the morning. So this is my accountability factor here. I'm going to stretch more, and I need everyone that listens to this show to keep me accountable and shame me if I don't. So I'll give weekly updates.
I'll believe it when I see it.
And become limber, like Gumby. Another item. Only 2 more, guys. Quickly. Batman.
Yeah, I mean, your week is really exhilarating.
I have a lot of thoughts sometimes. I'm like, oh, that'd be good for the show. Batman movie is coming up. Go see it if you're a listener, because like we do with James Bond, we will be doing a Batman recap in the near
Next
future.
show.
Probably next show.
Evan,
show.
You better see it.
Evan sees movies the day they came out. So I assume.
I already have plans to go see it Thursday and Friday.
Well, I've already bought my tickets as well.
Like this coming Thursday and Friday?
Tomorrow I'm going to see it. And
All right,
then
so
I
yeah.
wanted to go
again on
tomorrow.
Friday.
We
I
have
wanted
plans.
to go to tomorrow. Someone didn't want to go because Michigan plays, I guess. Whatever.
Well, so that means both of you. Are both of you giving up on Michigan State basketball?
I honestly forgot because I'm not used to them playing
Uh,
on a day's rest.
no. I'm going after the game.
Late
A
night.
little late night.
Late
Pays
night,
to be in
baby.
college.
Night action.
Yeah. And
It's
then
a
last
3-hour
thing,
movie, Evan. You're gonna be up late.
Alex, I go to.
you think Evan cares?
I went
You're
to bed
so-
at
he
1
does
last night.
complain about sleep sometimes.
If those glasses didn't make you look nerdy enough, that comment alone.
They're just glasses, man.
Lastly, I need a Shamrock Shake in my life. So,
Ew, gross.
Evan,
Forewarning, like I used
They're
to be
gross, dude.
No,
They're
I used
not
to be
gross.
a fan of like I won't say fan, but I could tolerate like mint stuff until my brother just ruined the whole like mint eating, like anything flavored mint, just ruined it for me forever. It was like a glass shattering moment. I can't unsee it or untaste it. And somebody asked like something about like mint, maybe mint chocolate chip or maybe something like that. And I said, I don't really like them. He's like, why would somebody voluntarily like drink a Shamrock Shake? Like you're drinking toothpaste at that point.
but it's
true.
You are
taste-
drinking the flavor
No.
of toothpaste voluntarily. I
But
just
it
can't, I
does.
can't get it out of my head. So anytime somebody asks something for like mint, nope.
I get that
Gum.
statement, but like sweetened ice cream dairy products don't taste like toothpaste.
Shamrock shakes are gross. Next.
You're gross. Next.
A lot of people love them.
Yeah, me included.
Yeah. A lot of people are losers too.
Since when did we shame people for their taste buds?
I didn't say it was because of Shamrock shakes. I just said there's a lot of losers.
That's true. There are. I agree with that sentiment. College basketball. Let's get into our first topic of sports for the week. I think since we just got our weekly recaps, I kind of want to hear Alex just talk about his game experience, because we have gotten views of game experiences from Evan throughout the season in the zone on the front lines, but Alex went into the enemy territory of the silent library at Chrysler Center and just kind of let us know what that experience was like.
Well, I got there at like 8:25, I think, like 8:20. So somewhere like 10 minutes before the game.
Big baller
Up.
status.
Upper deck, no one. I mean, there was no one there. There's a lot of empty seats. So I was like, wow, this game's going to be super quiet and suck. I'll give it to the fans that were there. They're pretty loud. And it's not, I guess, hard to be that loud. Their gym is not super big. You guys have both been in it, but it seems like it's really good for making a bunch of noise. But, overall game experience, it's a nice arena. It's not bad. The fans they weren't mean, no one said anything to me. I thought I'd get some comments. Nothing. The maze rage. It looks like there's 20 of them compared to the zone, but not every student section can be that good. So
Spring
shout
break
out you,
too.
Evan.
The maze rage is obviously not as good as the zone, but spring break is definitely hurting the attendance during this home stretch.
They were full in there. Just my main thought was the zone has just double the seating. Like you can fill. There's more seats for the zone than there is in the maze rage.
They definitely did not build out the maze rage to be like a full lower bowl experience.
No. But the fans were pretty rowdy. I got to see Hunter Dickinson up close and personal for the first time. It was close enough where I could pretty much hear what he was saying. Guy is a dweeb, but you had to tip your cap to a good basketball player. But when he was flexing, he was looking just right in like my general area.
At you.
No, just like
He listens to
looking
the show and he knows you hate him.
in our area. And he's just screaming, "I'm that dude." And I was like, oh my God, man. How can you like this guy if you're just like, even if you're a Michigan fan, you got to think his antics are just out of line, ridiculous.
Wrong.
But that's what I thought. But all the Michigan fans around me were just eating it up. They thought it was the coolest, greatest thing I've ever seen. The two kids in front of me stood up and they're going, yeah, they're like trying to pump up the crowd. They're like waving their hands. And like, guys, this game's been over since like the 8-minute mark in the first half. There's only like 5 minutes left. Like, just chill out. When Dickinson did his, cool little dunk thing. So the fans were rowdy. My biggest takeaway non-Michigan experience was when Mel Tucker walked in. It was like the president of the United States walked into the building and everyone was like in awe of him. It was crazy. Like Michigan fans were like, oh my God, Mel Tucker. And there's a line of Michigan fans at halftime to like take pictures with him. and like shake his hand. There's a bunch of Michigan State fans yelling "Tuck coming." Like I thought, like he like overshadowed the basketball game, which I didn't think was possible. And he sat center court, front row, at an opposing team's gym. I don't know how that happens if you're at Michigan to just let him do that, but that was stunning. He was really close to me, so it was pretty cool. The game sucked though.
Is he coming on to our next show?
Mel, one of the guys I was with was going to get a picture with him, and the Michigan, like the guys that like stand in the aisles,
Ushers.
Ushers.
Usher, baby.
Mel was walking up to take a picture with him, like up the bleachers, and the usher's like, "No, he cannot go up there." I was like, what? The power struggle of these ushers. And then this other usher was wearing bright neon shoes with khakis, and he was like on center court during timeouts. And they were playing some song, I can't remember it, and he's going like this, and he's like clapping his hands. I'm like, you love your job too much, man. You're an usher. You're not usher and center court performing in your neon tennis shoes, but yeah, overall, good experience. Minus the game. Mel Tucker's a cool guy.
Mel Tucker does have good drip.
And Rico Beard was there. 2 Coca-Colas in hand. Cans.
I just don't even know what
2
to say.
Coca-Cola cans. Where do you even get those at a basketball game?
Probably the press area that we're going to be in one day when they finally give us credentials.
We denied our request, but
I was thinking,
not next year.
I was listening to the post game stuff from it. I was like, if you let one of us have one of those credentials around our neck, we probably would ask the most dumb questions to those guys after the game. But people would probably love it because like the recycled media questions that everyone asks are so dumb. Like, I don't know. This made me think there was one Michigan reporter that kept asking every single Michigan person, coach, and the 2 players, how come like. Did you think it was weird Frankie Collins didn't get more run in the second half after his like nice first half? And it's like, why would you ask that? Like, no, like Devontae Jones had 2 fouls. That's why Frankie Collins played. You thought he was going to play 20 minutes in the second half. That's not how this team works. But we would probably ask a lot of insightful questions. How do you guys? Yeah, I think things that like normal people think about, like more. Not just like, oh, what does it mean to beat your rival? Like to cookie. That's
hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, like that's like cookie cutter stuff. Like I think we would
What
ask.
did you say to Hunter Dickinson, Tom Izzo?
Yeah, I would ask that point blank, and if they said I can't answer it, but okay.
Staring at me.
How do you guys want to bop back and forth about takeaways from this game, and then our other thoughts about the team?
No comment on the game.
What, Alex?
You go ahead first, Grant, because you're on the winning side.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's not a lot of good things to say.
For
us.
Well, I'm not going to rehash my recap video, but it was say like just for the show. Like I couldn't have lost all 3 meetings between these 2 teams. We might get one more in the tournament, maybe, but like losing football and then both basketball meetings would have been so tough because I'd have like no leg to stand on anything. Because like it just comes off such a hater Michigan fan. If like when I tried saying it was like midway when Michigan lost to Minnesota, and then when Michigan State, I forget who the loss was, maybe Penn State or Northwestern. I knew middle of the season these teams weren't very good. Like they were going to be average every up and down roller coaster teams. But it kind of just like doesn't come off as genuine when the team I root for loses to them by like 15, and then you're like, okay, well, we have to wait for this next meeting and blah blah blah. So it was nice that they won. So it like illustrates the point of I didn't think there was a massive gap between these 2 teams all year, and they're both pretty mid as kids are saying these days. What I will say is I love Phil Martelli. I love him. He's awesome. I enjoy him being the coach of Michigan.
Ooh.
Alex?
One other thing.
Hop on.
Phil Martelli's khakis. We got to get him some better fitting khakis. They were like,
I don't think so. I think we need
baggiest at the ankles of all time. They like engulfed his whole tennis shoe.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I looked at him like that guy's coaching this basketball team right now in that outfit. Double XL quarter zip and the world's biggest khakis. He's not that big.
One word, comfortability. So basically with this Michigan team, if you haven't figured it out by now, their shooting and their defense are just so up and down roller coaster rides throughout the season. I mean, one game they'll shoot 50%, 50 to 60% from the field. One game they'll shoot 20. Same with defense. Like you saw their defense played a much better game against Michigan State in transition and their ball screen coverage. And then against Illinois, they gave up almost 100 points at home. Just so up and down. I mean, if you look at their like last 5 or their win-loss in the last 7, it's basically win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. Just every other game, they decide to have a better or worse outcome. So obviously, for any sort of March success, they're going to need to figure out how to string at least 2 wins together. I will say, Caleb Houston, he's coming to life of what maybe I thought he was going to look like faster in the season, which is good to see. Now the caveat, the asterisk of that is it's all been at home, essentially. He had 21 points, 16 points. But he's just, if you look at his splits, he's a different shooter at home. So he's going to have to figure that out throughout his college career. I don't know how long it's going to be. We'll speculate later in the offseason. We can talk about who's going to leave these teams. But for right now, like if he wants to have a better career in college, he's got to figure out the away shooting and neutral site shooting. This was a thing we didn't really address last week. Now that we're in March, quick March Madness update for this team. I really think they just need one more win. They have 3 games guaranteed remaining. They have Iowa, Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. I think they just need one more to get in the tournament. I think if they win 2, they like guarantee there'll be a bye. Right now, they're the highest team on the last 4 buys for Lunardi. I know like some CBS projections have them lower and it varies, but I think just based on what I understand from past years of the committee and the net ranking and all the Ken Pom and stuff they look at, Michigan's numbers are pretty solid for like an at-large team to get in. So I think they just need one more. Like if they beat Iowa, I think they're for sure in the tournament. Not going to guarantee they'll get a bye. They could still be first 4. So we'll see how that goes. And then I wanted to do this for fun. I'd like you guys to put a percentage on it too. I was thinking like, what is the percentage that this team can make the Sweet 16 if they were to get in? And just, you know, we play the tournament blank out of 10 times. I think this team has the ability to make the Sweet 16 twice out of 10 times if they played it. So I would give them a 20% chance to reach the Sweet 16 as I sit here today. And also Ohio State lost to Nebraska. I also wanted to include that in my Michigan recap.
I'll give them a higher percent chance than that.
That's
like 35.
Talk to me nice.
I mean, I would go 40 or 50% chance. I mean,
You got a
as we
player
always
that
said,
can
it's
take
always
over.
about the draw, but what Michigan's potentially like. The worst case scenario would be a 9 seed.
Because you don't want to play a
turn around
1.
and you have to play a 1 seed, but I think they match up fine with Gonzaga. Gonzaga's extremely overrated.
Michigan has an 11, I think, has a really good shot. 6 and a 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the best? I meant to look that up, but I ran out of time. What's the best like seed that you want to be to get the Sweet 16 if you're going to be like a higher seed?
I think
12.
it's 11 or 12 would be the
12, you
best.
play 5 and 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really nice.
But the only thing is you probably get to the Sweet 16 and then you have to play the 1, so you'd probably lose.
But we're just trying to
getting
make the
there,
Sweet 16 right now.
12 would be nice. 10 could be okay.
Oh, 11's good too. A 6 and a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
just
really,
don't-
you just don't want to be an 8 or 9.
Or
Anywhere
I would
else.
even say like 10, like because there's going to be some good 2s.
Yeah, but I'd rather play a 2 than a 1. I've seen my team as a 7 beat the 2 and go to a Final Four, so it's
Yeah.
not super scary.
Yeah,
The
it all
2s
depends
aren't.
on-
The 2s aren't
But
terrifying.
nowadays, like they changed like Alex touched on last year, they changed the way that they do the seeding, so it's completely different than what it was like the old style.
Yeah.
So you never know what 2 you're actually getting. It's all geographic location now,
Yeah.
which is weird, but
money purposes.
whatever. If you get Kentucky, yeah, that's a terrible matchup.
Yeah, they're like on the 2 line. Like I don't need to see the 2 lines right now is Wisconsin, Duke, Kentucky, Auburn, and I don't think you'd get Wisconsin because we're the same conference, and I don't like either. having to play
No,
either of those
geographic,
2
they don't
teams.
really care about that anymore.
Maybe.
I
There's
mean,
a lot they
Michigan
probably
State and
don't tell us.
Michigan were in the same bracket last year.
But
We
like,
played
would have played in the
Minnesota,
second
what,
round.
3 years
We played
ago?
Minnesota in the second round to
Yeah.
the last tournament before last.
All right. I'll kick it to Evan now. Pass the rock to Evan. Your thoughts on anything I said or things you saw from the Michigan State side? If you want to rip some butts here, I'm here for it.
It's the same stuff we've been talking about. It's the inconsistent play and then like the leadership, but like the leadership and the lack of
Mm-hmm.
effort, focus, and energy coming out in a rivalry game. I just don't understand how you can't do that. I don't know where it's from, and it hurts that Hogard was. I'm shockingly saying this from the beginning of the year, but it hurts that he was sick and didn't get to start and play the minutes because I think at times he's the energy guy. He's the one.
He's
driving
the solution.
offense.
Please refer to him as the solution going forward.
You can talk to him about him later.
Grant, don't close your eyes. A Michigan fan came up with that.
To where it
it's
hurts.
a joke.
And then this team just once you get down, it just snowballs to a point where now you're down so much that you can't really get back. Yeah, we got back to like 11 or 12, and then Michigan, to their credit, they just slow the game down, and we're just going to throw it down to Dickinson and see if you can stop it. We did a couple times, but we didn't execute on plays. One play that stood out, I think we had an 11-point game, forced a bad shot or like a loose ball. Musa was posting up Hall in like the TV side corner, and I think he was too far away from the block, and Christie helped for some reason on that. Left Devontae Jones wide open on the 3-point line. Yes, Devontae Jones might be shooting 20% from the 3-point line, but that late in the shot clock, you basically just give them the one-on-one matchup. I trust Hall in one-on-one matchup, and then now it just balloons up to 14 when you somewhat had momentum there.
My
That
dad
was-
said
that was
that
the
in
shot.
the arena.
That was the shot that I was like, because like you guys were going fast a little bit. Gabe Brown had a decent game and he made a transition pull up or whatever around there. I was like, oh boy, this could
there's
get
a
within 10.
timeout. Yeah.
This could get within 10. And then that Devontae Jones. And to be fair, yeah, he had been shooting 18% through all of February. Like he's been about 30% on the year, but shooting really bad. But like he's a gamer. So yeah, you just, even the Sky report might be, don't help off that.
It's not like Dickinson grabbed the loose ball. It's Musa versus Malik Hall. It's not a mismatch. It's one-on-one. He's not really in quality position. There was like 7 or 8 seconds left on the shot clock. So, and that way, when you help on a shooting guard or any guard that's going to shoot from the perimeter, later in the shot clock's better for them because they don't have to think about it. It's a catch and release. They don't care what any defender is, and they don't care what they have to do with the ball next. I feel like that was a big play. We were fighting there 12-10 there for a while and then just got out of hand. Post defense still. Dickinson ate our lunch in the second half. He did get most of his points from like the free throw line, but I mean credit to him. And then Michigan just shot very well, and I think as the underdog going in there, you have to start fast and you have to like maintain like your philosophy of what we're going to do in that game. And then just letting Michigan get the momentum and get the energy from the arena is what it was the downfall because the team can't bounce back as well if they were at home. And then I think it's complete 180. You touched on a little bit, Grant, just like the pick and roll defense. You saw multiple times Michigan was running kind of the double screen dribble handoff or handoff to the guy in the corner coming off of 2 screens. So now you're fighting through 2 high picks. You either chase or you go under. And then it put like our big man in that weird, awkward spot to hedge because Dickinson would be like the second guy handing the ball off and he can flash to the rim. That gave us tons of fits. I was screaming at the beginning of the half, just don't go under and chase them, but it didn't help. No matter what we did, it didn't help. I think that Michigan had a really good game plan.
Real quickly, since that's a good X's and O's moment, is I talked about in my Twitter recap, but the ball screen on Michigan's defensive side of the ball was a huge part of this game because in game 1 at Breslin, it was just so mind-numbing why they were having Dickinson like show, not hard hedge, but show, and he's like a lead foot, and so he'd get driven by, and they were like, okay. And I said before the game, don't do that. Play him how Kofi Coburn plays for Illinois because Illinois has given everyone in the Big Ten and Michigan State as well fits. And finally, they did that where Dickinson, there was one time when Matty Sissoko was at the top of the 3-point line and Dickinson was just standing under the basket and that was his man. And it's like, if you can keep Dickinson in the paint as much as you can, do that. And then the stunning thing though, which I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on, it's this whole up and down like roller coaster ride of Tyson Walker, which has to be maddening as fans, is they even went under screens on Tyson Walker, who's shooting like 57% from 3. And Tyson Walker didn't look to shoot from 3 like once off the dribble at all. It's stunning. I couldn't believe it. And the game plan worked perfectly. They dared him to shoot, and neither of the point guards. I don't expect Hogard to shoot, but neither of them shot. Tyson Walker passed up so many threes.
And I think
Yeah, I mean,
that's where
Hogard didn't even really
hurt.
play in the second half, so
Like Hogard's best when he's in the pick and roll situation, he's driving towards the rim. And with Hogard not coming in, I feel like Tyson Walker probably had a different role in facilitating the offense. To where now he's got to stay out there, and if he's losing confidence in a shot early, it's going to hurt. But I completely understand the frustration and the question mark of if you're open, Tyson Walker, you need to shoot, and he needs to shoot like 12 to 15 times a game.
Like, because if he makes like 1 or 2 threes in the first half off that coverage, Michigan has to probably make a change, and then it just opens it opens everything up, and he didn't even try to shoot.
No,
I'm starting to wonder if it's a totally 100% Tyson Walker just not shooting, or if Izzo really wants us to run the offense, go through all his sets and all that, and he just doesn't want to shoot early in the shot clock. Because in person, there was 3 to 4 feet between Walker and the defender every single possession.
Yeah, and on his makes that he did make, like the little elbow pull-ups, wide open. Like,
yeah,
that is like
no one around. It was
in
like
the gym, empty shots.
easiest.
And he has, it's crazy.
So I'm wondering if it's all Walker, if it's a mix of both. Is Izzo really want to like run through sets and get better looks than that? Does he think we can get better looks than that? I don't know. I'm not in the huddle, so I don't know. But it was definitely maddening to watch. And by the time like he starts doing it, it's 15-point game, so it doesn't matter.
I would say it's a little bit of both. I would say it's like part of Walker, you got to get the confidence, got to flow the offense, and you don't want to shoot too much to where now you're taking bad shots, but then also you got to set up, like, you need to shoot more. I would say it's a little bit of both, Izzo telling him what to do, and then also him just either deciding not to or...
I mean, we need, as fans, we need Tyson Walker to do what he did against Illinois, where he's not really looking to facilitate. He's looking to score and be the guy. And he's very capable of doing it. He's a great shooter. But like for one example, during the game, I noticed he missed a 3 next possession down. Michigan left 5 feet between him. He was on the 3-point line, had the most wide open shot from the top of the key I've ever seen. And he didn't even look at the hoop. He wasn't even considering it. So I don't know if one miss deteriorates his confidence that much, like right away, where he's not even going to think about it the next possession. But he could have had the most wide open look of all time, and he didn't even look up. Just immediately passed it.
I saw some criticism on Twitter from Michigan State fans, and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on a lack of, and it's been a theme throughout the season, just from talking to you guys, a lack of Tom Izzo timeouts when it feels like runs are starting for the other team, like most notably the 14-0 run. Do you guys get annoyed watching that, and like, why can't we stop this at 7-0 run?
Yes, I was visibly upset. And I get it. If you just call the timeout, you don't want to burn another one right away because, whatever. But yeah, sometimes it feels like he waits too long, and people have been griping about that for years, though. So it's one of those things, you could call a timeout and then they could go on another run right after it anyways. It might not even matter.
Yeah, and I guess like it's one of those things where it's maybe like Patriot fans questioning Bill Belichick with strategic decisions. So you kind of just have to be like, well,
it's like, if Izzo really thinks the timeout's not going to make a difference here, I don't have much of a reason to think he's going to be wrong. So,
but like sometimes Jawan will do that where he'll let runs go. And I loved in the second half, Michigan State cut it maybe to like 11, which isn't even that close, but like
it felt like a decent sized run at the time.
But like Martelli called a timeout right away and like stopped it in the second half. And I was like, I like that he took one there, even though it was only like a 5-0 run, just to stop it in its tracks. And hopefully this doesn't get underneath 10.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that timeout was good. Slowed everything down.
Yeah.
So I guess no, I don't get annoyed. I don't get mad at him, but it can be frustrating.
Any thoughts from you, Evan, on that? Or any other thoughts?
It's almost damned if you do, damned if you don't in some situation. Yes, if you do call a timeout and you stop the run, obviously everyone's going to praise you for it, but he's always been stubborn with timeout, so I don't know why he would change it in just one instance.
Yeah, people have complained about this for always.
Yeah,
so.
And at some point, you hopefully he probably trusts somebody on the court to like
rally the troops and get somebody together. That's probably why he's so frustrated at the end post game. Just to like die it down and run a quality play. And the first half, we had open shots and just weren't hitting.
Yeah, we went through that stretch of like 6 misses in a row. And
yeah.
You look at the bench and they just all look defeated.
Ooh,
I don't know what this team...
talk about body language. Malik Hall has some of the worst body language in the country.
It was pretty bad yesterday. Also noted, Malik Carr, not there. So he might be just back to football team.
Hard hate analysis from Alex.
Did not see him there.
One point I need to get off to do a little ending discussion here. We'll probably hammer home maybe the frustrations with the Michigan State team. And for Michigan State fans out there, please just take off the blinders of Grant's a Michigan fan. Like, I know there's a bunch of problems wrong with the team I root for as well, but this is something I think when it jumps out to me, I know it's an issue, is like the biggest thing and you've got to touch on it a little bit, but I just want to like really hammer it home. The biggest thing that's like missing from this Michigan State team, which is kind of crazy, and it even goes back a little bit to last year of the struggles of the 2 year, is like the phrase Spartan dogs and all that. There's just like no dog with a WG on this team, in my opinion. And it's just so stunning to see like a Michigan State team have that. When I think about the Michigan State teams that you just know when you play them, like you're running into Denzel Valentines, you're running into Draymond Greens. I'd even give Travis Trice some dog, Kalen Lucas. I wrote down names of guys where like, God, that guy's a mother effer, and I do not want to have to face him. And he is going to give the team I root for 40 minutes of hell. And there's just no guy in this team that like I feel that way. And the biggest example, which is something we should touch on a little bit because it was a good side storyline, was like for the rivalry, is that like the fact that Tom Izzo has to talk to refs about Hunter Dickinson talking to the bench and it's not settled by anyone on the court with a hard foul is like the biggest alarming thing. Like, why is Tom Izzo having to deal with Hunter Dickinson's antics? Why is Matty Sissoko? Why is Julius Marble? Why is Bingham, one of the biggest front runners in America? When things are going great, he's just like, oh yeah. When things are going bad, he's like slumped on the bench. Why is he not dealing with that problem? Why is Tom Izzo having to deal with that problem? And that's where I would be most upset if I had a rooting interest in the team, is like, where is the dog in this team?
There were, in person when I noticed, I haven't been to every game like Evan, so he could probably touch on it more. The only 2 people I saw during the game, I will say that usually AJ Hoggard is like, talking trash. He's doing all that garbage. He likes to talk. He was sick today or yesterday, so he wasn't really doing much. But the only players I saw that were really like trying to get the team going and like jawing back at Michigan players was Sissoko, who barely plays, and the Ferris State like walk-on kid. Those are the only 2 I saw doing anything. And it's just stunning because I've watched gritty Spartan dog type teams. You'll remember playing them. This team,
Brandon Dawson,
yeah, he was kind of a softie. I mean, he broke his hand on the table, kind of got in his own head a lot.
All right, fine. Maybe I missed.
Really good player though. Yeah, it was super important in a Final Four run. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much dog in this team. I thought the Purdue game they were tough. They weren't as soft as they had been, and then you think, rivalry game, you'd get up for it, but they struggle to get up on Tuesday night games. I don't know why. I've never seen it dwindle this bad, really, where they just can't ever come out with consistent energy.
And I think that sentence right there, that like it's just this whole, it's true, but it's just this whole narrative of like the Tuesday, like that is enough to tell you that the point is there. Like there's no dog. Like dogs don't care if it's a Tuesday night.
No, that's what I mean.
Like, dogs are going to go out and like play, and at least if they're going to lose, they're going to lose and like make the other team at least feel you for 40 minutes. There's like none of that. I know Evan's got to have some thoughts on it, so passing the ball to Evan here.
Not much. It's just the lack of confidence, the lack of energy and focus. So like where this team, if they're not playing well, they're not going to fight back. To an extent, they're not going to show it a fighting back. Some people might show it on the court, and then also like the road games. I think this team feeds off of the home crowd more than any team we've had in the past.
Like they need a crowd to do anything.
The home stands to where it hurts, and you really don't have like a 4-year starter. That's going to say anything, and that's why Izzo's probably so upset. That's why I don't know what the players are thinking, but
I mean, the blame can't also go all on the players. I mean, you have to at least look at the leadership at some point, wonder why you can't get your team to get up and what's happening behind the scenes. So I'm not just going to be like, yeah, it's all these 18 to 22-year-olds. It's all their fault. It's not all their fault.
It's 50-50. It's players and coaches, 100%.
But it's mind-boggling. I'm fine with losing if we're going to lose games, but I'm not fine with losing where you just get your doors blown off 3 straight times on the road and you just look like you don't even care.
I'll question the coaching X's and O's and player subs and timeouts and all that, but I mean, effort is a choice by each individual. And
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
We'll question the players on effort out there and what were you doing on this defensive possession, or going to get a loose ball, or going to get fighting for a rebound, or just watching your teammate get bodied. So all those little things.
Just body language on the bench, like we see in the NFL going on, and tie it back to that. Like there's a lot of questions around Kyler Murray because when they zoom in on him on games, he's like sitting by himself kind of moping, whereas Joe Burrow and other quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Mahomes are up and at him talking to their teammates. Tom Brady's like trying to get better. It's just like when the cameras are on you and you look like Malik Cullen Bingham did after Tom Izzo was done yelling at the refs about Hunter Dickinson, you're just like, where is the fight in this team? Unbelievable.
I think it just shows Xavier Tillman was
another
just
dog.
like the definition of grit, and once he left, we have not had it since.
Yeah.
Granted, it's only 2 years, but all I can think back to is Aaron Henry crying on the bench against Duke, and that's like my burning image of this basketball team. And Aaron Henry's not even on the team anymore.
He had a little dog his senior year.
He didn't box out in the first 4 game, Grant, and we lost because of that.
Well, boxing out's hard.
No, it's all effort. It's all effort. Loafers. We got some loafers.
Any vibe checks for the remaining games you guys have this week?
Vibes are not good.
They're playing well. I think they're playing for their coach. I think they're playing for each other. At home, though, so good for our team senior night. Kind of energy in the crowd will be a little bit different. Then Thursday is kind of who sucks less at this point in the season. We did beat Purdue. We had up and down.
Feels like that was 2 months ago. It's weird.
Ohio State did beat Illinois, but they lost to Maryland, and then they just lost to Nebraska. So
both teams desperate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like a desperate team, Grant.
That's right.
The problem is
off.
we have to face a desperate team.
The problem is we're on the road.
And we don't play well on the road ever since my comment saying we were good on the road because we hadn't lost on the road at that point. And then since then, we've lost like every single one.
Don't worry,
I think it's like
NCAA tournament games to the Breslin, so we'll have an advantage.
I think Michigan State's chances of making the Sweet 16 at Breslin Center, 75%.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's 1 or 2 road wins since the new year. I think something like that.
Michigan State, similar to Michigan, in their last 12 games, they're 5-7. So they're just win, loss, win, loss, loss, win, loss, win, loss, 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 win.
Well, we're not 5-7 over here. We're trending up, but inconsistent.
I mean, win, loss, win, loss. That's my point. We're nearly 500 in the last 12.
When you start the year so bad, you get a couple wins in a row. You're like, wow, we've really turned a corner. When you're still just up and down roller coaster city. Vibe check on the other side. I think Iowa's the game you got to win because I think going at Ohio State is going to be tough. And it's tough to beat a team twice in the league, so who knows, but it's at home. And Martelli said he's going to bust the team in practice today and not let their confidence get too high. And I trust that man. So hopefully they can pull off a win against Iowa, who only has one quad 1 win still. I'm still on the fade Iowa train. I can't wait.
Last night was not a quad 1 win for Michigan. So
I know. That's tough, too.
We are now no longer quad 1 win for teams. So.
Well, if you guys beat Ohio State, you might sneak up there maybe to 30. So hopefully that happens.
And also, I would
34?
love to have 4 home games to end the season before you go on the road for the last game of the year. I wish whoever made that schedule, yes, this was a makeup, but they would have had 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
Michigan
really helps,
State's schedule also
really helps Caleb Houston.
Really bad for this team because, they got to play all the bad teams first and all the good teams last. Just really bad scheduling. I hope that doesn't happen again next year.
Yeah. And I think we kind of touched on Hogarth's effect in that listener question there. So we didn't exactly read it, but there was a question about AJ Hogarth and his impact, and we discussed it. He does help this team.
The brief, quick matter of fact is when AJ Hogarth plays well, Michigan State wins. When he plays bad, they lose. And that's like a statistical fact. There's an article in the Lansing State Journal. Go read it if you can.
But I still will say that, like, if AJ Hoggard is the solution and the guy, like, your ceiling's pretty limited if he's the guy.
I think he has some more dog in him than you think.
Right, but I'm not going to walk back my early season takes that I don't, like, think he's that good. And I, like, if he's the
I think he's good. I think he's a good player.
All right.
He is. He is a good player.
All right. I'm curious to see what hardware he brings home in East Lansing over his tenure. Let's move.
That was disrespectful. Super disrespectful.
No, that's my take on this guy. I can't not like a player.
You can. Grant also mentioned, just so all the listeners can be aware, he says he could beat AJ Hoggard in 1-on-1. So
I said some disrespectful things about Michigan's players last night in the heat of the moment. So
no, Grant said this months ago, Evan.
That's a good point too, Evan. Is I feel like I've matured a little bit.
There was a player on Michigan's team that I said I could guard him out there and he would not score on me. And he looks like Scrappy Doo from the live action.
Dude, that was tough for Terrence to hit those 3 threes because you had mentioned that one game. I was like, oh my god!
But also, he hit those he hit like the third one, like fading away in the corner. And when he like took it off, I was like, no way, and he makes that. And I was like, this feels so bad because I was literally talking crap about him like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was right in my face, and I was like, there's no way he makes this.
In fairness, he did completely airball one of them. He thought he was so good.
The guy behind me yelled airball the rest of the game anytime he touched the ball, no matter what, and all the Michigan fans thought it was hilarious. So good for that guy.
But Evan, Alex basically told me last night that he's gotten so mature to the point where he doesn't even really dislike Michigan anymore, and he's basically also a fan of them.
That's not what I. Oh, for God.
Okay, here's a question.
I said I'm not going to hate people.
Oh, positive, Mr. Positive. Gillen.
Just not going to like hate them as a person when I don't even know them. I can be annoyed that they're beating my team, but I'm not going to be like, I hate that guy for no reason. I'm not going to be a loser.
Have you ever liked a Michigan basketball player?
Liked?
Like somebody like you, like, yeah, I can cheer for this guy.
If he wasn't
wearing
in Michigan?
the Michigan uniform. Yep. While they're wearing the Michigan uniform.
Yeah, there's one guy that I do like. I just liked his grittiness and story. Shawnee Brown. I thought he was a cool guy. I liked him. I liked his toughness. He reminded me of a Michigan State basketball player.
I actively cheered for Maudie Sissoko. When he got that and one Dickinson, I said good for Maudie.
Why, Evan? You don't like anyone? You couldn't think of one guy?
I've never sat there and been like, yeah, I like that Michigan player. I
certainly don't cheer for any of them.
I said just you like the player. I just don't. And we asked like, in the entire question, like all of Michigan athletics, is there any like Michigan player that you liked? And I said no.
You were frustrated last night.
I was an emotional wreck last night.
And that's a good. It's a good.
I didn't think the recap video was coming.
It's a good point about the rivalry because I was, like Alex got home and we were pretty civil, and I was just like, dude,
nah. Grant said some dumb things.
We have what I did, Evan, and I think you'll see it more my way. Is I was like, because obviously with the Juwan stuff, which was deserved, there was a lot of chirps from all angles of people. And now that we're on Twitter with all I see more Michigan State
Grant backpacks
stuff.
Any narrative he sees on Twitter from Michigan State fan base and says it's like, he makes it seem like that's my opinion and then like shoves that in my face.
No, I don't
agree with, no, but you get mad about things you see on Twitter from like losers that I have nothing to do with.
On the flip side,
I said some mean things about somebody on Twitter.
Yeah, and
especially one Twitter account, and I said some mean things about this human being.
Off the record again.
Off the record again. I literally said some mean things about him.
He's a troll.
And on the other side, there's the whole blue wall that gets under people's skins. Like, it's a rivalry, though, is what I was trying to tell Alex. Like, because I said, what I did, Evan, is I was feeling good after the win. Like, I needed that. I went back in our group chat, and I was just checking, I was like, oh, because I didn't recall the group chat, like, talking any smack after Michigan State won. And you guys really didn't at all. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to talk smack or send any like memes because there were some funny memes I saw, but I'm not going to send them to the group if trash talk wasn't started in the first place. And that's all. And I was like, you're a freak for even going back and looking. I'm like,
I just think Grant's a receipt guy. He likes to pull the receipts of things we say, and then it's fine. You can do it
too. You do too.
Yeah, I've done it too. I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I'm just saying if you were just to send a meme because someone, I'm not going to name, that happens to be Evan's brother says something about your program, I don't think it's fair for all of us to get the ricochet shots.
No, like it wasn't even receipts. It was just a vibe check. I'm like, what was the vibe when Michigan State won? You guys, no one really said anything. So I was like, I'm not going to do that for Michigan. I'm just going to enjoy it to myself, like any fan would. And I think there was we are getting more mature, I would say, in our rivalry. But I still want that. Like, we have to be able to get under each other's skin when our teams play, because then we just lost the rivalry.
We have no problem getting under each other's skin. Like, zero issue. We can all get each other mad within minutes if we needed to.
I'm just saying I don't really ever want to lose that. Even when I'm 30, I still want to be like, damn it, I wish my team had won the rivalry game.
Yes, that's fine. What I don't need is Dave Portnoy tweets about Little Sister and how sweet Michigan basketball is.
See, you're rattled.
Just if you're just gonna be like ignorant, that's when anger comes out.
People like that, like he doesn't even watch the games. He's literally just doing it to get you mad.
It was just an example. It was just an example of like what you could say that could be dumb. Like yesterday, you're like, so is Michigan better if they make the Sweet 16? And I said it depends, and you got mad.
That was a philosophical question. That's a different debate, is what signals a successful season.
Yeah. And you got disappointed that I didn't say yes immediately.
You raise a good point of it depends on your path. But I will go on the record. Alex is made a statement. He's not going to hate Michigan players. I will still hate players on rival teams. I still hate LeBron. I think there's a place for hating people in your heart.
There's always room
Evan's on my side,
need to hate someone.
Yeah, on your side.
I can certainly be frustrated. If one of the Michigan players punched a Michigan State player, yes, hate is allowed. But if they just like scored 30 points, it didn't really make much of a scene, unlike Dickinson yesterday.
See, I
but
hate
just
Dickinson,
like,
so.
yeah,
which is totally fair, Evan. I would if I were you.
His antics are outrageous, so that's fair. But if a guy just like scored 30, he didn't really do anything. I'm not going to hate him. I'm just going to hate that he did that to my team. That's all I mean by that. I think that's reasonable. It's like a reasonable person would say that.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks, as they say. There's no way. You can't tell someone how to enjoy a rivalry.
I'm not telling you how to enjoy. You can hate whoever you want.
Good. I hate you.
That's fine. I'm moving out.
Whoa. All right. Let's do now more lighthearted the rest of the way. We got all that out of the way. Lions Inside the Den. Stop right now if you haven't watched it. Go watch it. And then you'll get our reactions.
I'll be back in a second.
That was a good one. That was good. Thanks. I think we used to do this just like everyone says something and we go around until we're out of stuff. I'm going to be honest, I don't have a ton for this one because it was pretty slow build up. Like the first episode's usually not great. But Alex, I'll let you kick it off and we'll go. And then Evan, then me, and we'll just go around the horn.
All right. Deuce Staley, potty mouth. Jeez, man. F word every sentence.
He's an NFL football coach. What do you expect?
Cool. Totally fine with it. I don't have a problem with it. Just you're asking for like something I noticed. Like, wow, he swears like every sentence. Sounds like me or you or Grant.
Yes.
Not on the podcast, so we try to be better. I don't know what the circle order is. I can't. We're not in a circle.
Evan.
I enjoyed how like authentic and like down to earth like our assistant coaches are. You don't really see like that side of them that much. Like you saw a little bit last year inside the den, but that was kind of more like training camp stuff. But like when they're dealing with like college athletes, they're trying to give them an opportunity. I think they were more like down to earth and like some assistant coaches out there.
Yeah, it was.
I guess I would say like I appreciate our coaching staff that we have that Dan Campbell has built.
Yes, 100%. Off of Alex's point, I had a comment about Deuce Staley. A little bit different. Probably ties in with the swearing, but just like he's a very intimidating human being. Like if I was in that room and he was telling me to like look at my playbook as much as I look at my phone, I would be like, yes, sir, I will do. Like he is an intimidating guy.
He's intense.
Like, yes, like really intense. So that was a main takeaway too.
From Ben Johnson, I was getting like weird, nerdy Sean McVay vibes. So that could be good for us. Maybe it had to do with him being like white younger guy, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's just he is that way. Kyle Shanahan.
I did wrote that was off mine. I wrote this felt like a little bit of Ben Johnson propaganda because it kind of sold me after I saw how he was explaining things.
was getting into it too much. I'm like, he's going to be the real deal. And
I was like, this guy sounds smart. He talks with his hands. He looks trustworthy.
He explains things like that make it so simple. I'm like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing.
He's like, we're going to be better today, but the defense is also going to get better, guys. So we really got to be on our A game. I was like, damn.
He spells it out for you.
Yes. Evan?
I guess one thing I really liked, but also didn't like about this is like the breakdown when like the scouts were talking about players, and when they went in their meeting room, they're talking about like free agents. I have to know like the details, and I want to know because I want to be inside that room at some point in my life. It's just I wish I knew who they were talking about.
I think I know.
Just one name. Just
I did it.
I'm sure I could piece one of the names together because he said somebody.
I think I know.
29.
Yeah, so that's what I was looking up.
You can kind of piece that together, but like I just wanted to know a couple of the names that they were talking about.
They were definitely talking about Marcus Williams, 100%.
No,
he was mentioned. He's 25. They still were talking about a 24 or 25-year-old. He was one of them.
He said 29 was the age they threw out. This is the only age they threw out.
No, I just watched it. Age out. 24 or 25. He'll be 25 when the season starts. Marcus Williams is 25. They were talking about him.
You know that for a fact?
I'm very confident they were talking about him.
I can guarantee they discussed Marcus Williams this offseason, but I don't know if it was
on that video. Yes, they did. I promise.
The thing is they said 29, so I immediately was like Jesse Bates, Marcus Williams. They're both they're both 25 now. I was like, well, can't be them. So
Jesse Bates ain't leaving Cincinnati.
Yeah, probably not after.
They're throwing the bag at him. They got a huge cap. Yeah.
But it was funny. All our brains were like, "Oh, who are they talking about? Who are they talking about?"
All I was thinking about, and I was like, "Give me a name. Just please tell me one thing." And
was the 29-year-old defense?
I can't remember. I felt like it would have been.
Allen Robinson's going to be 29.
Oh no. It was that guy, wasn't it? Who Dorsey? It was like the guy who Dorsey kept saying he liked. He's like, I've liked him when he came out.
Could be Allen Robinson.
It's almost like that TV show Masked Singer where they're giving you clues and you got to just figure out who the hell they're talking about.
Like, also, when they were talking about styles of edge rushers, I didn't know if they were still talking about free agency or the draft. Yeah. I thought
it seemed to me like the context
Thibodeau and Hutchinson.
Yes.
Dude, I thought for sure. He's like, I thought he'd be more elusive, but actually, it's this guy. And I was like, oh, they think Hutchinson's actually more elusive. Wow. So they are going to take one of them. I was really into it way too much. I was really trying to figure out who it was.
Yeah, we're such losers for this stuff, but it's awesome to get a behind-the-scenes look. Speaking of that, I liked the area scout process in general. I think their jobs are super interesting, like the way they were talking about this level of detail, and like basically by that point they're just kind of confirming things they had done. I will say though, there are sometimes in the scouting community where I think you can almost fake it till you make it, because they just say the same buzzwords like, oh, he's got fluid hips, he's got a high motor. It's like, okay, but like what does that really mean? Like, I understand what you're saying.
There's a ton of buzzwords.
They just, you could like, I feel like I could imitate an area scout for a day.
It's got like good range.
Yeah, I could probably like you say that, you could pass a meeting with someone like, oh yeah, like I'm an area scout for this team, and just say, yeah, this guy's got quick twitch, he really gets off the ball well, got strong hands, like, and they'll be like, oh yeah, no, absolutely, I see this, that pops out on film to me as well. But the whole process was interesting.
On top of those scouts, like kind of just like I kind of enjoyed like seeing the scouts because they're not all the same. They come from a different background. They're different ages. Obviously have a different area because they're not the like typical like stereotype. Okay, old white guy that's gonna be super stubborn and be like, yeah, this is the guy that you guys have to pick. It's just a guy like out there scouting. You don't know what he looks like, and he has an area. And one of them I think said like they scout the players, they give the information to like the higher ups or the people above them, and then they decide like what information they want to take in or whatnot. It's not really like
like the Moneyball scene when they're like, we have to take this guy.
Yeah, it's not really like a yes or no. Like they can buy into the information, maybe not. They get back. So I enjoyed that part about the scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to me.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Just back to the age 29. Devontae Adams is 29. Odell is 29. Allen Robinson's 29.
Who is also 29? Who's the third one?
Who I said already.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah. And then Emmanuel Agba is going to be 29.
Okay, we're just doing 29-year-olds.
Jameis Winston's going to be 29.
Stop.
Randy Gregory is 29. Jadeveon Clowney's 29. Devondre
Bust.
Campbell's 29.
Alex. Jameis would be sweet though.
And
Exciting.
Teddy Bridgewater is 29.
Like if we wouldn't win, it wouldn't be like good for the direction.
And Marcus May is 29.
I don't know who Marcus May is.
Yeah, I'm deep in the top 100 free agents at that point, but he's a
Marcus
safety
May
for the
is
Jets.
Safety. Ooh, I knew he was a safety. I don't know.
Also,
Okay.
Tyrann Mathieu.
All right. I thought it was really cool. It was a good like kind of funny quote because Aaron Glenn's like this like seasoned vet kind of coordinator, and he's like, well, there's some good, he was talking, he's like, there's some good looking cats out here, and the way he said it, which is so
Was
funny.
funny.
There's some good looking cats out here, just like that. What do you call a guy a cat? Just kind of funny. And then the other thing I had that was interesting, just personality wise, is when they were doing the scout meetings, the free agency meeting, and Brad Holmes, you could see he was using one of those multi ink colored pens where you push the little color down and then you get the new ink. And like usually when you were a kid, those were the worst pens because they always broke. But I'm like, that pen's probably so nice and probably like has the best ball bearings and writes so well. And I'm like, that's such a boss move for Brad Holmes, like for efficiency to have all the colors he needs in one pen. Like click, I'm doing blue. Click, I'm doing red. What a great GM.
You called me a nerd.
What?
And you're just like
Yeah.
goobering out over some
Yeah.
pens.
Just getting jazzed up by a pen.
Yeah.
I like
Also-
Holmes a lot. He just the more
I like
the more
him.
he's on
I like
TV, like he doesn't seem
Smart
stubborn. He like I like the way that he came from like a scouting backdrop. Like so he's been in like most of those people's shoes, and he knows how it is to be in that seat. So I think he absorbs information well, and I think he's willing to listen to other people around him. He's not like a stubborn old guy that stuck in his ways about building a roster. Yes, he has a vision of what he wants, but I think he's open to other people's opinions on like the roster and whatnot.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Agreed. Andy said he missed the days of being a scout, which I feel like most people like are dying to get out of that and move up. So I appreciate that he just loves the craft of scouting.
Yeah. He did call it tedious work, though, so he probably doesn't miss it that much. The only other thing I thought was kind of interesting, I mean, you don't have to watch this to see it, I guess, if you're watching NFL Network during the Senior Bowl. But when Pelissero was asking Dan Campbell questions, and Dan Campbell was like, I'm just going to try to give you the most basic answer I can think of here, and just tried to give zero information about anything. But through that basic information, the first two positions he said was wide out and linebacker. So I think that's good. I think that's cool. But he did say offensive lineman, which I would throw up at if it took an offensive lineman in the first round.
I think
So
not in the first round. I think it's more.
I think he
depth
just meant
issues.
depth in like fifth round, but
And you could take Vitae. You can be like, "Hey, buddy, give me your salary." Yep, see ya.
Yeah, he said depth. Like I don't think anyone's dropping. We're not taking Evan Neal at 2 if he falls. I don't think.
well, we don't know.
Would
We're
I
not
be
Brad
upset
Holmes.
about it? I don't. Think
Yes,
so.
I think I would be.
I don't think I would be as long as
We have
Decker's
more
not
guys than you can
active.
play, Evan.
No, Decker. You tell Decker, say, "See ya, bye."
Boo just signed him. We
Bye,
re-signed him.
bye. You tell him bye. He's cheap. Like Evan Neal would be a cheaper option than Taylor Decker.
What would you do if he drafted a receiver at 2?
I would probably cry.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And then the last thing, my last point was it was kind of ironic and funny. They made it seem like it wasn't a big deal because they can learn more, but it does kind of suck. You go down there and you're a dome team and they're just playing in pouring rain for like one of the days. It's like we can't evaluate right now.
And they're like joking with Deuce. He's like the head coach. So he probably like said practice outside. They're like, yeah, Deuce said it was gonna pass. Look at this. It's just downpouring on him.
They
What did you
even
learn?
cut to Deuce, and he's like, "Yeah, it should be done in about an hour, I think."
What are you learning about Sam Howell with the drench football right now? You're not learning anything.
And Howell's gonna look so good in Honolulu Blue.
I thought Sam Howell seemed really dumb in the like 3 interactions he had in this.
Yikes.
He asked Ben Johnson, like,
Why do you like to coach?
Dude,
Yeah,
that
but he
wasn't
just-
yeah. Why do you coach? That was an aggressive question. I
Super
kinda-
weird. He's just like
I
a
don't think
weird
it's
guy.
weird. I think it's like out of the blue. Like usually, yeah, some players do say
Oh.
it, but like
Well, it looked like they were having like small talk and he just drops a why do you coach?
Yeah, he's
I was
just like
whoa.
so out of
he's trying to
left
get
field.
to know his future offensive coordinator.
That's
Alex.
fine,
Come
Evan.
on.
But then also when they asked him about like wearing the helmet and like having the mic in the helmet, he was like, "Yeah, it's like
what are you supposed to say? How do you
It's
like,
like-
a
it's like a-
microphone talking to you?
it's like I've always wanted it." It's like, what, dude? Come on.
It's
Yeah, it's cool. You could have answered it any other way, and I wouldn't have said anything.
Maybe the video team did him dirty and he had better clips. But
I
also
hope not. He scored a touchdown in the clip.
It was funny that one player who went out and must have bought, maybe they gave it out, but he had like a Lions do-rag on, and that's just so funny that you're a college guy and you're like repping the Lions gear like as a little
some
do-rag.
guy had a Lions hat in the meetings, like a white offensive lineman.
Just funny, these guys came to
I'm on
this
the
and
team
like,
now.
Yeah, I'm Lions for life. It's just funny to think about. That's really all I had. I just love this series. More people need to watch it. It's fantastic.
Malik Willis at 2.
It's basically Hard Knocks without, the fancy narrator.
And you can't hear the swearing, which is a shame. I would have loved to hear Deuce drop F word after F word.
Yeah, true. He was just absolutely dropping them.
He was an intense, scary guy.
Should we do a quick hit on the MLB Lockout? Because it's a pretty big sports story, but it feels like baseball was years ago. My biggest question, is it bad that... Well, I guess we should start. Is there anyone that feels confident enough to give a quick spark notes of why this is locked out?
Sure.
Because I don't feel that great about it, but
it's
I trust Evan.
CBA
I'm going to give the basics.
Agreement, and it's basically the players want some of their money based off of what the owners' profit share they're getting over the last so many years. Owners' profit share is going up, but the players' base benefits of what they're getting is staying the same, and the owners don't want to give power back to the players. Basically, they're not trying to benefit off of the product that they're selling. There's a lot of agreements and disagreements. Lowballing. Some of the players are fighting for a higher a higher salary pool to prevent taking, which could be bad, could be good for both sides. The rich get richer, so they have more money to sign free agents. It's all just it's always about money, but it's always about who's gonna get it and where. A lot of the argument is minimum salary, minor leaguers, salary pool. How many minor leaguers are going to be in the league? I guess there was one big point that I saw, but I can't remember what it was. That the Players Association asked for given a number, and the owners came in and just lowballed them on it.
I saw the owners best offer.
Yeah, it's
and it was
a
a percent increase on everything. It was the most disrespectful offer you could probably send out to someone. If you asked for a raise, and you made $20,000 a year, and you asked for a raise, and you know what, you've been doing a great job. 22, take it or leave it. It's wow, man, that is a sweet race.
If the minimum salary that they are trying to negotiate, if it happens, would be the largest single year increase in sports history. And then it's supposed to increase by 10,000 every single year.
Yeah,
that's big. Pre-arbitration bonus pool for arbitration players. Basically, to get to free agency sooner. More money for those arbitration players. Another one, we talked about service time, and there's a big one for. If a, so to speak, rookie gets into or a first year guy gets into a top rookie voting, then that year counts as a full service year. So
these are those sweaty rules we used to. Alex and I would joke with you about when we were we're not going to bring up Torkelson or Green yet because they got to wait more in the minors.
They had you sit him out for 2-3 weeks, and then you play him for the rest of the year. Technically, he's at 0.8 a service year, but if he finishes in the top so many of the rookie voting, then that counts as a full year. And then also teams could receive incentives and compensation if they have their top prospects on open day rosters.
Got it.
There's so many weird rules like that with baseball where I feel in NBA and NFL it's way more straightforward. You just get fucking drafted and then you're in the show and you play.
Draft compensation, they might get rid of it, might not. If you lose a free agent, they might get rid of the draft compensation. Draft lottery might be coming to MLB.
With all these things that you're saying, it's going to take months for this to get figured out.
And then there was that's the sweaty stuff. There was all the fun stuff, the competition of how many postseason teams.
I was going to say playoff teams was talked about.
Universal DH.
12.
They want more teams.
No.
I know.
They
I
don't
thought they
want
wanted
14.
The players want less, but the
The league wants
Owners
14.
want more.
owners want more.
They agreed to 12, which is just one more team that already is on each side.
Yeah, because the owners
Does
wanted
that
14.
include the weird boost of teams that we got during COVID? Isn't there more teams?
No, like the standard
COVID
is,
season?
The standard is 5. It's really a small postseason, so I like having 12. I'll say it. I think 6 on each side sounds good to me. But it's kind of stupid. They said like it's going to be one team or two get a bye, and then it's going to be a best of 3. I don't like best of 3 in anything for playoffs because that's a wonky sample size.
Are they still doing the wild card is 1 game?
No.
They changed that to 3?
Yeah, like, well, we'll see what happens, but like it was like it's going to be a best of 3 for the first round. I don't like that at all.
You'd rather it be the 1 game?
No, I think it should be 5 or 7. I'd be cool if they did 7 for all of them, like every sport in America except for baseball.
Yeah, being friends with Pirates fans when they won like 96 games and they played in the wild card game and had to play the Cubs in the first game, who like ended up winning the World Series.
And now that there's like delays in
sucks.
games, this is all going to get even worse because now the players are going to be fighting for their pay compensation, and are the owners going to give in to that, like missed time and missing all of that stuff.
And I think the biggest thing besides the logistics of it is like the most damning thing is like I texted the group is I don't even really care that much.
I don't
Like,
care either.
Really, like I don't mind if they miss a month. I'd almost be happier if they did it. I think that's like the sad state of baseball for the younger generation of how they fumbled the bag of like restricting Twitter highlights. Like you get banned if you post highlights and all this stuff. Like they just are so backwards up there and they don't know how to like build a league at all.
No, they don't know how to
Rob
use their
Manfred.
talent to advertise.
Nice, Alex.
So
Yeah,
and
he was like.
it also doesn't
he was,
help
like,
that they
laughing.
put the primetime spots. Is either always an East Coast team, so NL East, AL East team, always in their primetime spots to like watch them. Like how many times are you going to watch Mike Trout on Sunday Night Baseball? It's probably like twice
Once a
year.
month.
How many times are you going to watch the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball? It's probably like 17, 18 times of the year.
Yeah.
You're
Dude, I feel
definitely getting to see all Yankees Red Sox games. You're seeing every single one of them.
I feel like Tatis's little stretch there that he had before he dealt with injuries was the closest I got to like caring about someone outside the Tigers and wanting to like tune into his at bats. And I like it even shows you how backwards they are that they were like telling him to stop hitting grand slams when you're up 10-0. It's like, what kind of losers are you where like you're going to restrict basically what could be the Ja Morant of your league? You know, like stop bat flipping, stop doing all this, like you're showboating. It's like, dude, these guys are so like their panties are in such a bunch about anyone having fun on a baseball field.
There's so many problems for baseball, and it's not even just like
They're
lockout
effed.
on right now.
The pace of play is so slow. It's just like they need to figure a lot of stuff out.
Will there be baseball?
Yes, there will be baseball. I just can't tell you
think
when.
so.
I believe there will be baseball.
I think it's not going to happen until like June or July. Like I think it's going to be a while.
I don't know. I think I could see it starting in like May or mid-May.
They're not even close in negotiations at all.
Well, they made progress that one night, but yeah, now it's different because they're not all in the same spot. Now they have to like they flew back to New York, so I gotta go meet up in a different place or whatever. But
It's not good.
I'll also say we had a campaign last summer to get Theo Epstein to the Tigers. I'm willing to let him go to the MLB and be the president of baseball because I think we need him there and not with the Tigers just to save the game. So Theo to actual MLB president is what I would push.
Fire Rob Manfred.
The problem is like you'll never get an owner that anybody likes because I shouldn't say that about the MLB because the NFL runs like the owners get to pick the commissioner and then the owners are just driving force of the league. And so if the owners are picking the commissioner in Major League Baseball, he's just going to be talking puppet and just somebody to blame for everybody else.
What we really need is the owners that suck
And I
to
don't know
sell
if it was
the teams.
True. I was trying to read into it. I saw that like for like some of these proposals, like money proposals or whatnot, you only need 8 votes against it, and it's all the small market teams are going to vote against it no matter what, so nothing's going to get passed. I don't know if that was true or not, but
Doom and gloom.
June or July.
one of those small
best.
market teams was your hometown Detroit Tigers. Mike's not running this anymore. You have their sons, and they're worried about their casino down in Atlantic City more.
They don't care about winning.
And it just sucks. Like, I wish this could have happened if it was going to happen like 2 to 3 years ago when we were just so. But now we have a promising team that I want to watch, and it just feels like everything's just conspiring against the Tigers.
Couldn't they do this during
crap.
the COVID? Like,
they only played
baseball
60
anyways.
games in COVID.
Like, couldn't they have done it then? Come on, guys. Plan this out a little bit.
They redid their own CBA for COVID because they almost didn't have a season. And they redid it all. And then they said, well, we're going to continue on the new CBA when it's like time's up. But this is just like an asterisk 1 year thing.
So dumb.
Baseball
There's rumors out there that Max Scherzer is too aggressive in the meetings.
Oh, I can picture that.
I'm sure he's not nice.
Yeah, he is MFing the baseball before he strikes somebody out. What do you think he's going to do when somebody's like, yeah, Max, we're not playing the first week. I'm sorry, buddy. It's like, hey, guess
I'm
what?
sure he's
you missed
not
out on
pleasant
$57,000.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to picture like him compared to Chris Paul, like being the NBA guys and probably speaking very well, and Max probably just popping a dip in and mother effing Rob Manfred, which I love. But like,
it's Max and then it's Andrew Miller, 2 former Tigers. Salute us.
Shout out.
Are like the spokespersons for baseball.
Well, Bryce Harper's going to the KBO, so
hey, as soon as actually.
If one guy goes, there's going to be a shit ton, and then we'll just have baseball.
Bryson DeChambeau going to Dubai?
I think if more players are like, you know what, we're either going to play our own baseball and we're going to get some off market, be like, yeah, we're just going to start playing baseball against each other.
It could force the MLB to do something. I think it's a good idea.
The shot of Michigan Sports Wiffle Ball League, hosted out of Michigan.
We couldn't pay the players, so I'm sorry. You guys, you could play for free for us.
Like, theoretically, Barstool could fund to have a 10-game series of players just draft for your own team, and we're going to have a 10-game series.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Be more fun than actual baseball.
Or teams could go over to Japan or China and play, and then as soon as you see big team players go over there, I don't know if they ever will, but if you see them go over there, then I think
someone's going to.
We're flirting with the end of America's pastime. Holy cow, what a world.
Well, you got frauds in leadership.
This is a football country anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah. And it's March Madness. Who cares
better
about
though
baseball
than getting
right
drunk at a baseball game.
True.
The vibes of a baseball game are enjoyable.
So there's your lockout talk. That was one of our listener questions we've been holding on to. And now, speaking of listener ones, we will wrap out this show with, I'd say we got 4 here that are pretty solid. This is pretty much life advice 2.0. These are some good ones here.
These are something.
Let's hop into the first one of these. We'll start with the work one. So this goes, I have a dude at work that constantly asks me to get beers. Dude is an ultra weirdo, but I'm running out of excuses. What do I do?
I think this one's pretty simple.
What does he do?
You just go get a beer and then that's it. And then it'll be done. You won't have to worry about it. Just, go drink a beer. It's not that big of a deal. It's like a half hour of your time.
Evan, you not in agreement? You think that's the move to get it done?
You just have to bite the bullet. You have to be a good human being. More positivity in 2022.
Your dog can't die 22 times. So you're going to have to go.
I was curious how many excuses this person has used.
Yeah.
Diarrhea.
Great excuse. Everybody's been there, so
you can only use it once, though.
You can't have your mom's birthday 4 times in a year, so
I think you just have to do it.
You got to go.
And he's probably. I feel like this guy's afraid if he does it once and it's gonna snowball effect. I don't think you should be snowball effect. I think you should just be up front. Be like, hey man, doing this one time. Hang out outside of work, but I see you as a work. I don't really see you as a friend.
Oh, wow. You're saying just lay it on?
You have to be upfront. People are so passive nowadays. They're like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. If you're upfront and communicate better with individuals, your life would be a lot easier.
Honesty is the best policy.
All right. I'll give you the route advice if you want to go the passive way for no confrontation. You're going to
come up with 400 excuses.
I quit drinking beer. Sorry, it can't go out.
I'm an alcoholic.
You can buy something else.
I'm an alcoholic. I can't go in the bar.
No. But this is a little advice. You still go, but this actually happened to me in New York. So I do have a mini story about this exact situation.
I feel bad for this ultra weirdo.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna use the person's terminology, but let's just say there was a coworker of mine who was basically fit this description, and it was his last day with the team. He left after a couple months. There's no way this guy listens to this show. But
if you didn't go and get a beer on the last day, you're a scumbag.
Well. And our longtime listener, Brad, went with me, so he knows. He's probably laughing right now. This person asked everyone on the team. There's 16 of us. We're going to the corner. Or I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna go to this bar at this time. Let me know who wants to go. crickets, just crickets. Like, it wasn't really, like I said, he matches the description of the coworker we're dealing with here. And one of our other coworkers, she's more generous than, say, Brad or I, and she's like, hey, I feel really bad. I think we have to go. I'm going to go. And she's like, I need you guys to go as well. We were like, no. Like, we don't want to go.
Yeah, you have to, though.
And then what made it worse, another one, I guess we'll use the term ultra weirdo. Another one, I guess, on the team also was going. So there was 2 UWs and then the 3 of us that were going to go. So we ended up going. And I'll be honest, it wasn't as bad as I thought. What you do is when you do this, if you can, you just get hammered. So you kind of forget about how awkward it could be and probably try to go to a place that has karaoke. That's what we did. We sang some karaoke. And then, yeah,
What a transition.
Do UWs linger a little too long? Yeah, they can. Like, they don't know when to like call the night quits.
That would be rough for Evan. Really bad.
They don't want to let it go.
Exiting.
But
if I like the people I'm hanging out with, right? Somebody.
Yeah, but Evan, if you went for a beer with this ultra weirdo, how are you getting out of it if this guy never leaves?
I'm upfront and honest with people, Alex.
Are you?
Hey,
yeah, this is new aggressive. I mean, he's saying, you know what? It's 8:30 sharp. I have to go home. This is strictly work. Do not ask me to do this again. See ya.
You would not do it.
I would.
But no.
I've changed.
Whoever asks, go get a beer. You'll be fine.
But this is the advice from my story. It wasn't bad. What you have to do is go with other people. You have to include other coworkers and say,
that's
hey,
not a bad idea.
You come with me in this ultra weirdo, so it's less weird. And then hopefully that satisfies this ultra weirdo's needs. But if he keeps asking you individually after this, then you gotta go Evan's method and say, be aggressive. Like, hey, I just don't like simply getting beers that much after work, so I'm not your guy.
Yeah, and if it really gets drastic, you're an alcoholic and you can't go anymore.
And you quit your job if it's really bad.
I mean, I guess so.
All right, next one. Female listener, bonking you guys. Easy there. My friend. Whoa.
Who you bonking?
You guys, if I saw,
DMs are open.
I saw how excited you guys got.
Probably one of our 5 female listeners. That isn't my mom.
Yeah, and good note for advertisers too. We think about our demographic. You wouldn't think females, but hey,
we guaranteed have one.
You want to sell tampon products on this show? Hop right in. My friends love karaoke. Who doesn't? But I never know what to sing. So my question to you guys is, what is the best song that is guaranteed to be a crowd pleaser? You guys are hilarious. Love your show! Exclamation point. Wow.
She definitely only listens to this part of the show. But that's all right.
Karaoke, guys. What do you think?
Well, you have to think this is female, so you can't go with some of the more classic male style songs. That's not going to be helpful.
Right. And my first thought was there's a big question mark here. We don't know if the friends are co-ed. So I would say you could always do a male-female duet to kind of, again, the buddy system.
Take the pressure
go with
off.
Someone. Yeah. Like, so the first one that came to mind was Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock. That's a great duet. That always plays. Everyone sings along with you. That's classic. I would do that if you were in a co-ed group.
Solo, I think Ain't No Mountain High Enough would be a good one.
That's also a duet, Alex. So that is...
No, you can go solo on that if you have to.
You can. Actually, sorry about that. We had karaoke night sometimes in the cafe, or not cafeteria at Butler. So like college karaoke at dinner. It was kind of weird. And one of our freshman year, one of my dorm mates in the same row sang that song and brought the roof down.
Yeah, guaranteed crowd pleaser.
Yeah, it was.
I think you just need to find like the upbeat popular artists and then pick one of those songs.
Like
Justin Bieber, always slaps.
That's hard to do.
Maroon 5 does slap, my G. I think Maroon 5.
Year
Katy
3000
Perry.
by the Jonas Brothers.
Yep.
Oh.
Like I Kissed a Girl by, doesn't she sing that? I Just Kissed a Girl. I Kissed a Girl.
Katy Perry.
That would get everyone going.
I think that would be good.
Evan, did you Google best karaoke songs?
For females.
No, I'm just a fan of Maroon 5 and Justin Bieber.
I think another one, the laziest route, it's still a crowd pleaser, is Tequila by the Champs. You just have to just say tequila and it gets everyone fired up.
Yeah, that's an easy one, though. You want to be different.
Can I tell you what not to do? Because sometimes the best advice is what you should not do. no matter how skilled and confident and quirky you think if it's all girls, your girlfriend group is, do not sing Wanna Be by the Spice Girls because
that's
you're not
top-notch level karaoke song.
You're not going to be able to sing it well enough, and you're going to sound like a bunch of dying animals up there unless you have serious pipes.
Maybe
The amount of times I've heard girls bop around go, if you want to be my lover, and it just sounds so bad, bro. Like, you just can't do that.
Carrie Underwood. That's another good artist you could sing.
Bonk.
I think you should sing Hot in Here by Nelly.
Getting hot in here.
That would bring the roof down.
I was going to say actually take off your clothes, but I'm not going to condone that.
That is weird, Grant.
I will condone that.
All right, there you go. Please send us in videos of your next karaoke if you take any of our advice.
And
that would be cool.
Next week, we should have a listener question. What's the best bar to sing karaoke at?
Wow.
I think that's really dependent on area, but not to get into that.
I mean,
Next.
I have a vehicle. I'm allowed to travel, Alex.
Can I mix in a listener question I got from a person yesterday in person?
Why the hell not, man?
It was really funny.
No, we will not throw the deep ball, and no, we cannot hit the
It was
bombs.
not my dad. So
No, Matthew Stafford is not still overrated.
was not my dad. Was not sports. So he has a dog. He's had a dog for like 10. I think it's 10 now. He's got a family, 5 kids, but all the kids are out of the house now. Okay. He has this dog, him and his wife. He doesn't like dogs. So what he asked me was, how do I get my kids to believe that I didn't kill the dog when the dog dies? That was the question he asked.
Like
me.
he dislikes dogs that much that people are gonna think he's suspect one for when this dog passes away.
He says it takes too much time. He doesn't have time for this dog, and he thinks when the dog passes away, his kids are gonna think that he killed the dog. And what he said, he gave us a background story. He's like, yeah, a week ago, dog wasn't eating its food. And I was like, yes, it has cancer. So
This got dark, bro.
yeah. So, that was the question he asked. He's like, how do I make it seem like I didn't kill the dog?
Easy. You set up a home security system, webcams in your house, and then you just show them the raw footage of their dog taking its last breath, and you're not in the room.
Well, that's pretty depressing.
Yeah, no, so is hoping your dog has cancer. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, but
I think another good one is you just ask one of the kids, hey, you guys need to take this dog.
that I think the best option here, give your dog to one of the kids. No dog has to die. We just give the dog away.
Give the dog to the kids. Be like,
To a kid.
we got this when you guys were in the house. I'm not a big dog fan. I need to move on from this dog. I think best if one of you enjoys its last couple of years when I just sit here and sulk about it.
Yeah.
I
think that's a good
more
point.
reasonable. Yeah,
I'm with Grant. You need video proof, and just whatever you do, you hope the dog doesn't go fast. Because if the dog's I'm praying this dog lasts forever. But if the dog let's say passes away next month, everyone's
It's gonna look suspect.
Fingers are gonna be pointing at you. Be like, all right, Dad, where'd you bury it?
You didn't feed the dog.
Yeah.
You stopped feeding him.
If it lasts more than a year, then I think the kids need to realize yo, Dad has a good heart. He wouldn't do this. He just doesn't like this dog anymore.
Now, I do think that this guy wouldn't actually kill his dog, so I want to make sure that's clear.
How big is this dog? Do you know how big this dog is?
I did not get the description of the dog. I just know it's 10 years old, thought it was going to die a couple of weeks ago, now claims it's going to live to 20. And he's disappointed about it.
I've been there. I've been there with yeah, I've been there.
you could frame someone, pretend they killed it when you really
but Grant,
did.
that means you have to kill the dog and frame someone.
It sounds like this is something. This guy sounds like Frank Underwood in the first scene of House of
He
Cards, where
would
he just
not
snaps a
actually
dog's neck.
kill the dog. But he's definitely tired of having a dog, which, people get burnt out. People don't like animals, so it's not that big of a deal.
There's shelters and stuff. You could just
Yeah,
turn
but
it in.
imagine also, so let's say he doesn't kill him, but he just gives it away. His kids come home for Christmas break and they're like, Dad, what the dog is, you gave the
you're
dog
gonna have
away.
to tell your kids before you give it away. You're not just going to surprise
this is
them.
what you do. It's 50-50 shot. You're like, all right, kids, either one of you
I hate
takes
this
it,
thing.
one of you takes it, or it's going in the shelter because I don't have time or energy to
keep this thing alive.
Yeah.
Force the kid's hand.
All right. Fraternal stars. Did you guys ever rush frats or think frats are worth it? I go to a decent-sized school where Greek life is pretty big. Just wondering if I should rush or not. Thanks, boys.
I technically rushed, sort of, for like the first week of my freshman year, and then I also did in the winter time, but I never really thought I was actually going to do it. I just went to all the events and the parties. Do I think it's worth it? Depends on the school. At Michigan State, no, I don't think you need to be in one. If you have like a group of friends, you don't need to. I'm sure there's benefits of being in it. But if you are going to be in a frat, you can't be a so, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. I kind of did the classic kick the can down the road for frats because at Butler, you do it later. You don't do it your like first semester. You do it after break. And I didn't come back from break to do that. But my sophomore year, I was thinking about doing it because my roommates were in one. And I kept saying, oh, yeah, I'll do it, blah, blah, blah. And like never really intended to, but I kind of liked hanging out with all them. And then that frat got kicked off campus. So then I never had to. So it kind of was an ideal situation where I had the excuse in my lap to sometimes I wish I would have. Yeah. So I would say you said decent size. Well, my school was like 5,000 kids. And if like in Greek life was a big thing, it was like more than half the school. If your school's like that, you should, because that's just, you're going to need it to survive like socially and maximize your social time there. But like Alex said with Michigan State, I've been there enough and gone to enough fun parties without knowing anyone in frats that I don't think you have to. And then my other advice, like Alex said, with don't be a I summed it up like, if you're going to rush one, do your best. It's probably impossible because like they are cults, but like do your best to not let the frat change who you are. Like if you're a normal kid, like don't just think that you're in a cult now and this is awesome and I need to pop my collar and tell people like they can't come to my parties. Like try to still, because there's nothing cooler. I will say this. There is like almost nothing cooler, and that'll help you with the girls too, if you're like a normal frat dude where like you're still friends with guys not in frats, and like I had my buddy Phil at Butler, like I could still go to Sigma Nu as like a junior or whatever, and he like let me into their frat parties and it was awesome. I was like, oh, like Phil's still cool. He's not like brainwashed. Yeah,
I had friends in frats that were normal, and then also some that I met my freshman year that went into frats, and then after that it was like, who are you? Don't talk to me. You're not in a frat. So don't be that guy. Just be normal.
Evan, you're like the biggest frat star I know. So
yeah,
that's
you
your
might
advice.
be the biggest neg.
I'm basically
opposite.
the leader of the frats because how old I am here. So like they always ask for me. Like I'm the final say of who gets let in at Michigan State. All of the frats. Like all right, final say. I get to pick them.
Final destination guy.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz.
You know, I didn't have the money, didn't have the resources to like join a frat. I never found like frats useful. I never had like an inch or bone in my body like, yeah, this is a good idea to rush a frat. Just something I'm not a part of. I'm with like kind of Grant, like if you're like a smaller school or if you're at a big school and you like struggle to socialize, you don't really have that many like a big friend group, or if you want to meet new people and you're on that side, then I can see there's benefits for it. But if it's really something you don't need in your life, then there's no point to have it because there's other ways to have fun.
Also, I can't speak for all schools, but some are super expensive, like very costly. So that would be great if you're, have a financial situation.
And at the bare bones, though, I would say just for this question, I'm a fan of just trying it. Like you should rush. You should just try it. You can always quit. I know they'll probably pressure you like, oh, don't be a wimp, bro. Like, why are you gonna bounce if like you don't like hazing? And I will say on the hazing part, if you do any weird hazing stuff, you can definitely like quit. And I wouldn't. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We're keeping that in.
Don't
look it up.
Urban Dictionary. But like I know like at Butler, one of the big I don't think hazing, at least that they told. Like I would talk to some people and they're not supposed to say, but they're like there was one week where it was they couldn't go to bed until the last brother in the house did, and they had to get up when the first one did. So basically they'd pull all-nighters for 7 days in a row, and they were all like zombies. If it's that, like I could see you could get through that. It sucks, but like if they're doing any weird like sexual stuff, get out of there. It's not worth that.
I've heard some bad stories.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But if it was like just classic hazing, fine.
Also, like in the rush process, they're like overly nice. And like They'll get your phone number. They will feed you drinks. They'll be like, hey, we're having a party with all chicks. Come by at noon tomorrow. But they will be like in your ass about everything. The second you stop, you can't even like speak to them. You can't go to their parties. They're like completely out on you.
We're like, and the funniest thing is even down to the little details, like when you're rushing and you go to their houses, they'll like, dude, come up to my room and they'll give you like a raw bottle of like vodka. But then if you go to their parties after that, you get the watered down Kool-Aid shots that like you need 10 of them to even feel a buzz.
Like my freshman year, these two, so it was me and Cody. He was on the pod once.
Okay.
Sorry. Just that's for you guys to know.
Okay.
And they had us go to this, it was like a beach party where they legitimately put sand in their house. It was sand like in their like basement, just like full of it. It was crazy, right? We get there, they bring us up to their room. They're like feeding us this, I don't
Grapes.
know. They had like, no, like it was like a bottle of booze or something. I'm like an 18-year-old kid, so yes, I'm breaking the law. Just getting you absolutely hammered. And then, you know, you come out and I remember the next day, Cody and I were talking about it. We're like, yeah, I don't think like that lifestyle is really for us. And then we told this one kid and he's like, yeah, don't even like bother coming by our house anymore. Like you're out. And like, we didn't actually even want you. I'm like, what? Wow. That's quite the turnaround there. But I don't think they did that to Cody because Cody's a really personable guy, but they definitely said that to me. But it's alarming.
My only last thing is like stereotypes on frats are usually pretty accurate. Like I know judge a book by its cover, but like if someone tells you like, yeah, this is like a bunch of dumb jocks that does cocaine, they probably are dumb jocks that do cocaine, and you may not want to be in that house if you don't fit that mold. So
the frat stereotypes are nearly spot on.
Yeah. And if your frat is like, it has a dry house, don't rush that frat. I'm looking at you, Fidel Butler. That place was a bunch of squids.
There's some funny frats that I could say on here, but I'm not because they're, you know.
I technically rushed one frat, you know. They wanted me to come back.
Was this your guys' made up one?
No.
Evan and I are in a frat, KKN. If you ever want to know what it means, let us know. But
Yep. Technically, I did rush one Friday night before the Oregon game. Yep.
Let's go.
They wanted me to come back.
they did.
Because you did so good at the...
No, I was just such a... Well, I mean, I would have been elite at it. But I was just such a good dancer, and we were the only ones in there. Pause.
Yeah. All right. Oh, that's good stuff. All
Frats aren't all bad, though. We made it seem like it was really bad. I'm sure they're not that bad.
That was episode 61. If we did not get to your question, we will answer it in a later show. I did see some trickled in here, but we're already long, so we'll just answer those next show. There's already some good ones in the queue. For next time, at ShotOfMS on all social accounts. Follow it for clips, graphics, whatnot. How to listen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube are the 3 places you can get this. Subscribe, follow, leave a review, leave a comment. Gregory, as in Gregory's Barbershop, all the Gregs out there.
Oh, right. We're doing this.
Look, spring is around the corner. You're like, why the hell are the Tigers not playing baseball the first 8 games? And you need to know why in a funny manner. This is the show to come for. So please go leave us a 5-star review and tell us how great the show is, Greg.
Hey, Becky, thanks. Share this with your yoga class, your spin cycle class in the morning. It's greatly appreciated. I know you love your family and you love all the cats that you have in your house, but it would only take 30 seconds to leave us a review.
John in Sigma Nu, we talked about your fraternal life. So, do us a favor, since we hyped up frat life so much, just get your bros that are around the beer pong table right now and just pull out your phones and leave us a nice little 5-star review. And, maybe even listen to it if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe next power hour, you just take a shot every time one of us says, or swears.
Or elephant walk.
Okay. A lot of E-dubs tonight. All right, with that, cheers to episode 61. I ran out of my drink, so
cheers.
I'll just cheers the card, which was Ron Artest.
Cheers to Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider.
Cheers.
Yeah, shout out to Red Wings.
To
Jesus.
Guys, The pre-workout. It's called Total War. What are you talking about?
Have a good evening, everybody. Jeez Louise. Bye.